The Select Committee has invited Mark Zuckerberg to give evidence to Parliament about this because we think this is an issue of the first most importance. He's agreed to send the Chief Product Officer of Facebook to Parliament. He's not given a definitive answer as whether he would attend himself or not. But do you think it would be appropriate for someone like Mark Zuckerberg to submit himself to giving evidence to a parliamentary hearing, because these issues are of great concern and great importance to millions of people in this country?
Well, I think it is, you're absolutely right, these issues are of importance to people. People do want to be able to ensure that their data is being used properly, that they can have confidence in the use that's being made of their data, and that's very important for individuals that we represent. So obviously I can see that why the committee wants to look into this and expects to have the maximum possible opportunity to raise questions about this. I would also hope that Facebook will, and Cambridge Analytica will, and any other organisations involved, will cooperate fully with the Information Commissioner in the investigation that she is conducting into these matters. And should
Mr. Zuckerberg do as you're doing now?
Well, Mr. Zuckerberg will decide for himself whether he wants to come before the committee, but what I hope is that Facebook will recognise why this is so significant to people, why it is that people are so concerned about it, and ensure that the committee is able to get to the answers that they want.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Yvette has a supplementary.
Just to follow up, just to clarify that your answer to Damien Collins, you say that you have not seen any attempts to interfere in any United Kingdom election.
As I said, I have not seen evidence of interference in UK electoral processes.
And is that because you've looked for it, or the government has looked for it and not found it, or hasn't looked for it but just hasn't seen any?
Well, as you might imagine, I don't personally go looking for for evidence of these things. I rely on information being brought to me, and as I say, I've seen no evidence.
But have they looked for it and not found it, or have they
The
not
issue
looked?
of ensuring that our elections are properly free and fair is one that is taken very seriously. As I'm sure members will remember, before the general election last year, efforts were made to ensure that individual candidates were given proper information about issues around internet security and so forth, to ensure that as far as possible people were also able to do this for themselves. So we do take this very seriously. We work obviously with others where we have seen, there have been cases publicised of attempts to interfere in elections elsewhere. So this is something that we're very conscious of. We're not complacent about it, and we do look to make sure that our elections are free and fair.
And given the initial question, have you asked different branches of the government to look at whether or not there has been any interference by Russia in any election or referendum?
At the time of the election last year, work was done to ensure the fairness and security of our electoral systems.
Given everything we've seen since, do you not think it might be wise to ask for this to be looked into, and also to look into the allegations made that Alexander Kagan, one of the individual, the academic who was involved in the original data breach, was alleged to be involved in the data breach between Facebook and Cambridge Analytica, was also supposedly doing some work for a Russian university at the time? Do you think it might not be wise to ask for all of this to be looked into?
Well, obviously, as I've said in response to an earlier question, I think what is important in relation to the Cambridge Analytica case and Facebook is that the Information Commissioner is able to investigate properly, and that those companies and other organisations and individuals involved cooperate fully with the investigation that the ICO is conducting.
So you're not asking for any further investigation into the Russia links?
As regards the Facebook and Cambridge Analytica, I think it is important that the ICO is able to undertake the investigation that is taking place.